Hi there, it's July 8th, 2020. Hope everybody is doing well. Today we're going to discuss fat loss and diets and all the hoopla and BS that goes on around this topic. Everybody trying to sell a gimmick or a routine or something. Anyway, we'll be back in a flash and we'll get right into it. Good evening. I'm your host, Perry Larrabee. I'm the CEO of Bull Fierce Training, also Bull Fierce Media. Before we get into this topic, I would just like to make mention of a couple of things. This coming Friday was supposed to be our second episode dealing with, putting somebody in the spotlight, giving them a few moments of fame, a chance to tell their story, maybe discuss, their journey or, what element, how big an element, their training has played in their life, either, as a natural athlete or maybe, things that have happened in their life. Maybe at one point they weren't a natural athlete, but they've turned that way. Either way, so far, I'm having a hard time coming up with other people to participate. I realize this is very new, but I would appreciate if we could get some distribution, have some people show some interest and show some likes on these videos, these casts, pass the word around, whether you know somebody, you have a friend, somebody doesn't necessarily have to be a bodybuilder or even a fitness athlete. It's just somebody who's, overcome some great, some great challenges with themselves physically. And they've done it through, through diet and exercise. And either way, it's a chance to sit down and discuss something positive. And I would really like any help I could get. That would be wonderful. With that put aside, we're going to get right into what tonight's topic is: fat loss. We have a real dichotomy going on. We have media bombards you with both sides of the coin. You're being bombarded with food ads, fast food ads, and crappy food ads coming at your ears, and then you're being bombarded with gimmicks and routines and so said and magic pills to combat that problem. So the problem is not necessarily, obviously it is an eating disorder. It's a crutch. It's something that people tend to lean on. Some people do actually have a medical condition. Many people don't. But the problem is, we're allowing the media to determine how we should look, or why we should look that way, and how we go about doing it. Free speech is a wonderful thing, but when it's put in the hands of too many people who have no moral values whatsoever and don't really care, they're just trying to sell you something, whether it be the bad guys selling you the food or the other bad guys selling you the gimmick that doesn't work. Because in the end, there is only one thing that works. One thing that works and works continually and will not let you down. That's a whole change in attitude. It doesn't matter what diet approach you use, it's a whole change in attitude. Because if you do not change your attitude, I guarantee you, no matter what you've used, whether it be surgical procedures, whether it be different types of diets, whether it be I don't know one piece of equipment, to be honest with you, I would ever validate as having any value when it comes to fat loss whatsoever. We'll talk about, the ability to, spot reduce, which is a total bunch of BS. We have trainers right on YouTube, for example, that talk about, these are the best exercises to getting rid of that belly fat, which is just bullshit. You can't do any exercise to get rid of just belly fat. So we're going to start with some basics, try to dispel some myths and get people on the right track of what you have to do in order to create a permanent change, a permanent difference. Because that's what you want, right? You don't want to go up and down. You don't want to keep going up and down. That has many long-term negative side effects. Both physical, it's very hard on your body to be going up, 40, 50 pounds, go down 60, 70 pounds, go back up 50, 60 pounds. That's extremely hard on your body, but it's also very hard on your psyche. Your body can only tolerate so much of that, and then eventually you'll give up. There's classic cases out there. I mean, there's people, I don't like to dwell on celebrities. As a matter of fact, the last thing I like to talk about is celebrities, because most of them are so full of crap that it's coming out their rear end, which is where it's supposed to come. But you take somebody like Oprah. How many times did Oprah go up and down, up and down, up and down? Christy Alley. How many times did she go up and down, up and down? So many spokespeople for different things. But the fact is, what they didn't change, it's not that they didn't, eat a certain way, that didn't get a result. They didn't change the mental approach to their life. They didn't get things in order. People tend to think that, well, you have to create some, what's the word I'm looking for here, some Spartan lifestyle that, you don't get to enjoy anything for the rest of your life. And I don't care what type of metabolism you have, that's just not true. Some people will have a little harder time than others keeping things in check, but it's not impossible, and it's not impossible to do it without living a Spartan lifestyle. What do I mean by a Spartan lifestyle? Just as the name entails itself. You get up. I mean, you're basically you're weighing everything. You're making sure you're exercising this much. You're making sure you don't eat any more than this. You don't drink any more than that. You can't go out till this late. And it just goes on and on. That's almost as hard on you psychologically as the yo-yo effect of going up and down with your diet. So what do we have to do? We have to change our perception of what we're doing. Okay, so you're sitting here. Let's say you're in your mind. I mean, because nobody knows how many pounds they're overweight. You can't tell by looking at yourself. You have intermuscular fat. You have intramuscular fat. You have subcutaneous fat. Fat comes in many different forms. And no matter what you do with the fat itself, the fat cells still remain. That is why it's so easy. Now, when you go off, whatever routine you've decided to use, if you use some type of specialized diet to get your result, that's why you seem to just blow up like a sponge. Because those fat, it's like muscle memory, but it's with fat. Those cells, they're used to being like this big. And slowly, you've been doing it through some type of means that's non-sustainable, and you've finally accomplished your goal. But eventually, because it's non-sustainable, you go off the rails, and you go off in a big way. And inside of no time, it may have taken you 4 months to take that weight off. Inside of 2 weeks, you got 3/4 of it back on. And it's not all water weight, folks. It's not. Okay. Yes, when you have extreme fluctuations or extreme, I feel what I'm looking for here is, but you get really extreme fluctuations over a day or two. That is generally speaking water weight. Okay. But it's still a sign of things to come. Okay. So what do we have to do here? We have to approach both the weight loss and the day-to-day lifestyle in a common sense fashion. Now, I'm ruling out, once again, I should just reiterate this at the beginning of every one of my live streams. I'm talking to the natural audience. When you're using drugs, even if you're not using cutting agents specifically, you can literally drop body fat and not even do next to any training just by being on PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. That's what PED stands for. That's the reality. When you're a natural person, sorry, you don't get that benefit. But the benefit to you is you have complete control. It's not because of a needle you stuck in your ass or pills you're shoving down your throat. Okay? You have far more control. And those people, I guarantee you, they pay the price. They pay the price more severely than you ever thought. But I'm not even just talking about competitive athletes. There's so many people around the world that have turned to drugs just so they can look good to for their girlfriend, their boyfriend, to go to the bar, da 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 da. They'll never step on a stage, and they'll look good for a little while. And then if they do what they have to do, that is go off, they look like a slob. I know I've seen many countless young girls in the gym, but very pretty girls, nice figures. You know, I can tell when they're gone on something, and all of a sudden they gone off, and they look like they gained 60 pounds inside of a month, and they look horrible. And I bet you they feel horrible, and I bet you they feel horrible up here as well as in their body. So don't go down that route. You can accomplish these things if it's just getting in lean shape. I'm going to talk about both contest procedure and non-contest procedure, but if it's just to get into leaner shape and have your clothes fit better, that is such an easy task to do, but you have to make the mindset change. Okay. So what do? You create routines. Okay. You create routines. And you have to create a baseline. Everybody, this is where your genetics plays. Okay. Everybody has a different genetic baseline, which is the BMI, or basic metabolic index. Okay, X amount of calories to keep your body weight at what it is, and it's different for everybody. Yeah, it might be you might have two people that weigh both 140 pounds, but their basic metabolic rate is different in the two of them. So it's going to have a different amount of calories that are going to be required in order to cause a weight gain or a weight loss. So this doesn't have to get complicated though. So what do? Do you do some type of, testing at the doctor's office? Do you go to some medical facility? No, you don't. You start off by taking an analysis. And this is what I would do with a student who I'm training for a show or not. If they come to me and I've never worked with them before, I want you for a while, okay, till you learn about yourself and what you're doing. For 2 weeks, I want you to write down literally everything that you ate. I want you to weigh your food, and you can't lie. If you lie, forget it. Don't even come to me. And don't ask for my help online or anywhere else, because if you're lying, you're just lying to yourself. I can't help you. Okay, and neither can any other trainer. You have to be honest. So if you sat down and you had a binge and you ate 5 Snicker bars, you better put it in there. Okay? And you take your weight every day. Normally, over a long-term goal, I don't have people taking their weight every day, but for 2 weeks, I'm basically doing what a doctor would do when he does blood tests. I want to see what you are eating on a regular basis. I want to break down the macronutrients. I'm not too interested in the micronutrients whatsoever, unless I see something that's glaringly missing. Okay. I'm looking at the macronutrients, and I want to see, what percentage of which you're using. What are your eating habits? When do you start eating? When do you stop eating? How many meals a day are you eating? What are your intervals? These are all important factors. And someone says, they say out there, well, I have this lifestyle or my work, it doesn't, you know what? There's no such thing as not being able to take 5 or 10 minutes to eat. And I don't care what job you do. If you have to work that into a couple of meals, or you take those in liquid form, whatever, but there's a way to accomplish the goal. So stop saying I can't, and start saying I can, because that's what you need to do. Okay. You can say I can't for the rest of your life and you will never change. Or you'll get a temporary change because you chose some fad routine instead of making the big jump and changing your life. Changing your life in a good way. I can't tell you. I mean, the only times I've ever felt bad about myself was when I got sick in these last few years, or if I let myself go off my routine. And routine is not meant to be a negative word. It's just that I know from experience, and I know just from studying physiology, the human being works better on a routine. If you have a structured sleep time, a structured training time, a structured meal time, you would not believe how well your body will change just because you did that. Everything will happen to you all at the same time. You'll be able to start falling asleep when you're supposed to because it's a routine. You'll be going to the bathroom at the same time. This is not a word of a lie. This is the first thing I noticed the first time I did a contest show. After about 5 weeks, I think I dieted for my first show. I over dieted, I think about 13 weeks, 14 weeks, because I wasn't even that out of shape in the first place. Within 5 weeks, I could tell you when I had to go to the bathroom. and when it was going to happen. And it was like clockwork. It never missed. As soon as that show ended, and I started eating willy-nilly, eating for only for a couple of weeks just to blow off steam, everything was all over the place. Wasn't sleeping properly. It was getting belly bloat. You name it. It was just happening. So that would just reinforce what my studies already told me. Okay, so you have some points we have to nail down here. You need to create a routine, and you need to create a mantra in your life that you're going to stick to this routine. The longer you stick with it at the beginning, the easier it is to become part of your lifestyle. It's creating a good habit where bad habits used to be. People unknowingly develop bad habits. Why? Usually because it's the easier route. Sometimes it's just insidious. And by that, I mean it just creeps up on us. We didn't even realize we were doing something until all of a sudden we realize that we're doing something that's negatively affecting us. Okay. And you will find the most successful people, and it doesn't matter what you're talking about here, career-wise, financially, most of these people have a set routine of how they do things. They have a plan. Here's that word. I don't even like that word plan. I'm a very creative type of individual. But the difference between me now and me 40 years ago is I have so much experience behind me. I no longer have to weigh my food to get ready for a show. I know what 200 grams of rice looks like or 200 grams of chicken looks like. I know what 8 ounces of orange juice looks like. I could always get an 8-ounce glass and cheat a little bit, right? But I'm just saying, you will not have to spend your whole life always weighing things out. And when it comes time, it gets to the point where you're actually at your body weight and you look the way you want to look. Now, whether that's super ripped or it's just, a smaller waistline or looking better in your clothes, whatever that goal is, you can maintain that for the rest of your life. I guarantee you. And at that point, it will be so much easier because it's become ingrained in your lifestyle. Okay? So create a routine for everything that you do. And the longer, just keep telling yourself, even if you hate it at the beginning, I hate having to eat at this time all the time. I hate it. But if you do it, it will pay off in big dividends. And you will not have to weigh yourself out anymore. You'll be able to go out, you can go out for family dinners. You'll be able to say, give me a piece like that. You don't have to sit there like some of these morons do. Oh no, where's my scale? I got to weigh that. No, you don't have to. I did all my last 3 shows, never used a weigh scale in my life. And I won 2 of them. Go figure, okay? It's how you want to learn, okay? This is the idea, wanting to learn about something. This is where, the whole drug mortality has come into play. People don't want to learn anymore. They just want that end result. They just want that finish line. They don't want to know how they got there. And therefore, they don't know how they got there. They got there by some guru, and I'm trying to find a new acronym for what that actually stands for, because it sure as hell is an intelligent teacher, okay? Once again, it's just a pharmaceutical trader. That's all they are, okay? So create a routine. Other things in a good diet is smaller meals. Now, meals is a very vague term. Meals for somebody could be just a salad. It could be a salad with some chicken. It could be a full-fledged meal where you have all the major macronutrients. It could be just a muffin and a banana. It could be whatever. Okay, but the more you break your meals up, and if you can, have 5 and 6 meals a day, that's a great routine. Not everybody can do that, but I can tell you one thing. By having your meals smaller, the good benefit about having meals smaller, and it's not absolutely necessary to drop weight, to have success. I'm going to put that out there right now. It's not absolutely necessary, but I can guarantee you 99% of the competitive population in bodybuilding and fitness do it that way. So that speaks volumes about how it works. Okay, it's more effective, and my whole way of thinking is It's not a matter of how many different ways you can actually do it. It's what is the most efficient way? What is the best way? We want to do the best way. Work smart, not hard, right? Although when you're training, or a weight training athlete, you're always training hard, but hard in a good sense. Okay, so smaller meals and regular intervals. Try and restrict your eating late at night because generally speaking, 95% of the population, I'm just pulling numbers out here. I didn't actually go out there and find a study. Okay, much of the population revolves on a regular type of 9 to 5, 8 to 4 type of whatever, 10 to 6 type of deal for their work. And many of them do not have that much of a lifestyle in the evening that's using up a lot of energy. So how do we change? Maybe changing your caloric intake, your macronutrients based on those meals. You don't always have to have 5 or 6 meals of all balance. That's where the Canadian food guide and me definitely differentiate. They do not all have to be like that. You can have a meal that just focuses mainly on your fats and a little bit of protein. It's hard to get a meal where I can tell you right now, the best diet in the world is to eat one type of nutrient at a sitting. Think about it. If only one nutrient was entering into your system, your body only has to then supply the enzymes and any protocol required for that one thing to break it down. Therefore, it's going to break it down quicker. It's going to utilize it more efficiently. Now, I know there's going to be people out there that say, well, you need this amount of nutrients. They have to be in conjunction with this one. That's a lot of bull crap because in your system, you always have a supply of amino acids, carbohydrate source, sugars, fats. It's already there in your system. It's a matter of how often you're feeding it at this point, okay? So the best diet is if you could eat one thing in one sitting all the time. The problem you would run into that is twofold. A, it's very boring. And B, especially when it comes to protein, and if you're a heavy weight training athlete, I'm sorry, I still buy into, and I know it for a fact, I do it with my students. I've been around enough people in this sport for 40 some years. You need a higher protein content than the standard athlete, okay, or certainly more than the standard person, okay? If you're just an individual who wants to moderate their weight, it's not as important. But if you're using weights and you want to build some muscle along the way, there is a certain guideline to use, and you should try and stick to that. Okay, and that guideline basically being, well, we won't even talk into the actual macronutrients just yet. Let's just talk about protocols for fat loss, okay? Fat loss or getting into shape. Okay, so what are you going to do? You might make for me, for example, I might make a meal that will be rice and chicken breast, and maybe I'll have a serving of peas, for example. I might have another meal, might just be a protein drink, where it's going to be mainly going to be protein and carbohydrate. And I might just have that with either a water source or juice source, so it stays carbohydrate. I may use, milk replacements like, coconut milk, that type of thing. There's just lots of ways to do it, okay? Maybe a carbohydrate meal where it's mostly complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates come in two different fashions. So many people have a very weird comprehension of complex carbohydrates. They don't seem to understand the difference between what is a simple and a complex carbohydrate, or the difference between a regular complex carbohydrate and a starch. All your vegetables are complex carbohydrates, but they're not starch. Your starches are your potatoes, your rice, your pasta, your breads. Those are your starches, okay? So you can, and it's theoretically, if you think about it, it's almost impossible to eat too many calories if you're on a high carbohydrate diet, but not a high starch diet. I don't believe in throwing any of those elements out. I believe you need starches. I believe we've been eating them for centuries. It's, for most people, other than people who have medical disorders, eating starches is a good thing in required amounts. Same goes for any of the other nutrients. Eating fats in the proper fashion in required amounts. Eating protein, not in absorbent amounts, required amounts, proper intervals for good absorption. So having regular spaced meals throughout the day serves many purposes. A, it will help to shrink your waistline. And anybody tells you that doesn't, they're full of crap. I say that a lot, don't I? But anyways, that's the truth. They're full of crap. They have never got ready for a show, because I can tell you, my waistline, even in the off season, if I'm normally training, I'm not, I haven't had a period where I get sick for a couple of years. My waistline always used to be about 31 inches. For a guy that weighs 220 pounds at 5'10", that's not that bad. But you know that at many times my waistline has been down as low as 26 inches. That's 26-inch pants that go on not tight. How's that accomplished? Spreading meals out, allowing my waistline to shrink. Okay. I mean, it has shrunk. My stomach has shrunk. That's a fact. Even a doctor will tell you that. I mean, that's one of the things that many diets rely on. The longer the less you eat in a sitting over a period of time, the tighter your midsection gets. And all of a sudden, if you break that protocol, you'll feel like you just swallowed a small Hyundai or something, because your stomach just feels like it's ready to blow. Anyway, so smaller meals, they'll shrink your waistline. They'll also allow for quicker absorption, because your body won't be bombarded by so much all in one shot. And it'll be better uptake of both macro and micronutrients. That's a win-win situation, okay? This will all play into the idea of helping you mentally. Because if you're eating well, your body knows that. And when your body knows that, it tells your mind. And when your mind knows that, it tells your body back in, and you go to the gym and you're fruitful in the gym, or running down the trail, or on the bike ride, or whatever the case might be. It all works in concert. And once you get to do this over a period of time, it'll become your lifestyle. It's not going to be, because the thing for me, what I come from a family of overeaters, of all heavy people. I told myself at 17 when I started training, I'm not going to be like that. And I stuck to that. I've had a couple of periods where, due to things that beyond my control. Other than that, I succeeded in my goal. That was not going to happen. It was not going to happen for a lot of reasons. It's just not healthy, okay? And it doesn't have to happen to you because it seems to run in your family, okay? I want you to go out there and make those changes. So, just for some basic building blocks, and that's all we're at this point, okay? I'm not sitting down here and outlining a diet, in particular. I am going to go a little more in particular into continence dieting on another stream. But this is what I want you to do from now going forward. I want you to, spend a couple of days creating this mantra that you're going to make a change in your life. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Don't just go into the gym willy-nilly. Don't think about it. A plan, okay? Then I want you to spend, maybe do a couple of weeks of doing whatever activity it is you want to do, okay? But don't put some big onus on yourself that you have to get a certain goal accomplished. Over those 2 weeks, I want you to write down everything you ate, good or bad. Remember, you have to be honest, okay? So write down everything that you took in, okay? And then if you're going to get a trainer, or if you want to contact me, or if you just want to, there's so many apps out there right now, you can get a breakdown. You can actually see how many calories you took each day. What are your macronutrients each day? What was your weight each day? You'll be able to get a kind of a micro pattern of how it is affecting you. It'll give you an idea of where you're going to start your actual caloric intake when the actual change in lifestyle happens. Notice I didn't say diet. The change in lifestyle happens, okay? That could be, for some, it could be, 1,400 calories. For some, it could be 2,000 calories. But, it will be, different for everybody based on what their basic metabolic rate is. And that is, in fact, partly genetic, but you can kick that into overdrive by doing some simple tricks. And we'll get into that a little further down the road. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Once again, I'm going to mention to people that, I'm really working hard to make this platform work. This is what I love to do. It's what I've loved to do my whole life. I'm finally getting a chance to put it into action. I've started a group, Natural Bodybuilders and Fitness Canada on Facebook. I have a page for them. I have my own training page. I have my own training website. I have the obviously the media company to push forward on natural training. Everything I do is about the natural trainer, and I want you to come on board, get involved. Support those shows. Support the people that train natural, the real naturals, not the fake natties out there. There's too many of them. Stop making them feel good. Stop helping them make money, lying to you, because that's all they're doing. Okay? And stay away from gimmicks. There's no such thing as 5 specific exercises that will get your belly fat off. There's no such thing as, a certain exercise or a certain gimmick that will get rid of your thigh fat. It doesn't work. Anybody tells you that is full of crap. Once again, okay? Does not work. Anyways, I'd love to have some comments. Anything you want to get a little bit more into this topic, we can definitely do some more streams. I could probably talk for hours on this subject alone, both competitively and non-competitively. But for now, I hope everybody stays safe. I hope you really make it a goal in your life to make some changes. Change your mantra. Change your life mission. You will feel better for it. You will project that. People will see it in you, and you will become a success. Anyways, I'm going to sign off for now. God bless. God bless everybody. And I hope you train both ears. Bye for now.